Good afternoon, my name is Josh from Cyclones Oz, and here is your afternoon update on the rainfall situation developing across Queensland. Low pressure is dominating the state right now, and as such, plenty of rainfall being dragged in from the tropical north over in the Gulf of Carpentaria and through the Coral Sea. We've had some pretty significant rainfall accumulations overnight, with 170mm in the gauge outside of Winton, and widespread falls between 70 and 140mm have been reported. We have a severe weather warning current into the southwestern corner of the state, including locations such as Winton, Longreach, Windora, Charleville, Quilpie, and then down towards the southwestern corner of the Queensland state into the Diamantina basement and into the Channel Country. We've got plenty more rainfall still on the cards there. This update is going to contain information about the rainfall and the flooding situation that we're seeing across Queensland right now, and we'll also look at the rainfall situation over in far north and southeast Queensland. You can see on the radar and the satellite imagery, especially over the last couple of hours, plenty more showers and thunderstorms developing into the north central parts of Queensland between Mount Isa across to Hughenden. A bit of a moisture highway now streaming in from the Gulf of Carpentaria, and it's also looking like there's plenty of heavy rainfall as well around the Longreach area, although for Longreach itself the rainfall has temporarily eased off right now. This rainfall is still remaining moderate to heavy as it heads south of Longreach and down towards Charleville, and it's not so much on the radar imagery right now, but locations around Windora, especially towards the southeast of Windora, are really copping some pretty significant rainfall at this time by the looks of things, at least on what the satellite imagery is telling me at this time. And you can also see, and I'm sure a lot of people testifying to this, the weather is looking very miserable across into the southeastern corner of Queensland, with plenty of showers and moderate rainfall just extending over those areas right now, and that's not going anywhere over the next couple of days either, unfortunately. So get used to the sloppy weather over there. It's certainly going to be sticking around, unfortunately, for those locations. But yeah, plenty of rainfall to talk about and plenty more still to come. You can see on the rainfall forecast right now, showers and thunderstorms widespread across the Channel Country and into the northwest of Queensland. Like I said, that rainfall highway being drawn in by that low pressure system sitting over the top of Bedore right now, which is heading slowly towards the southeast this afternoon, and that rainfall highway of moisture just moving in on the eastern side of this system here, wrapping around on the southeastern side with those heavy falls where a severe weather warning is current for rainfall accumulations over the next 24 hours, up to 200mm possible in the Windora, Charleville, and Quilpie sort of area, just in this general location here of southwestern Queensland. Rainfall is expected to increase later on tonight. The falls, or the heavy rainfall, will contract south of Longreach later on tonight into early tomorrow morning, with the heaviest falls expected south of Longreach into the southwestern corner of Queensland, and especially for locations around Charleville throughout tomorrow morning into tomorrow afternoon. Heavy falls expected into Friday as well around the Charleville area, then extending across towards the Carnarvon National Park outside of Rolleston through Friday afternoon and into Friday evening, and moderate heavy rainfall expected to continue across the south central and the southeastern corner of Queensland as well. Moderate heavy falls, including showers and thunderstorms, will be widespread still through Thursday and Friday across north central Queensland, especially north of the Channel Country and then up towards the Gulf of Carpentaria coastline. There'll still be plenty of showers and thunderstorms to talk about then, but the worst of the rainfall will be clearing out of those locations throughout the remainder of today, and especially in towards later tonight and into early tomorrow morning. Rainfall is heading further south as this low pressure system heads towards the southeast, and then in the future along towards the east, and this broad low pressure system is going to be bringing moderate heavy rainfall to much of New South Wales' northern half, with also heavy rainfall expected into the western half of New South Wales as well, especially through Friday afternoon and into Friday evening. Plenty of rainfall expected across interior parts of New South Wales, which will only begin to ease off for the western half of New South Wales through late Saturday morning, and then through Saturday night for the eastern half of New South Wales and by Sunday morning for the northeastern corner of New South Wales. So rainfall is going to be very widespread through interior parts of Queensland still throughout the remainder of tonight and into tomorrow, and then it's going to extend into New South Wales, especially through Thursday, Friday, and into Saturday. Finally, it looks like by Sunday there'll be a little bit of reprieve for everywhere, apart from coastal Queensland by the looks of things. Still plenty of rainfall going to be around Queensland through Saturday and into Sunday, but the rainfall, for the most part, clearing out by Sunday afternoon and evening. A lot more rainfall is still to come, though, so let's take a look at some of those numbers right now. And whilst there hasn't been too much of a change from this morning, we're going to get into detail about some of these numbers, starting in the north and heading south, and I'm not touching on the coastal areas because they deserve a separate segment to the video, which I'll talk about in just a few minutes. But like I said, that moisture highway really active over the next 24 hours, and as such, accumulations between 50 to 150mm expected for the northwestern corner of Queensland, especially for locations towards the north of Mount Isa and towards the immediate east of Mount Isa, out towards Cloncurry, Julia Creek, McKinley, Maxwellton, Hughenden, and Winton. Rainfall accumulations in those areas will be anywhere between 50 out to about 150mm, with those heaviest falls then becoming a little bit further southerly based as we push the forecast forward forward in the next couple of days, the rainfall does then begin to contract closer towards the New South Wales side of things. Still, though, widespread falls throughout tonight into tomorrow expected to be in excess of 100 millimetres for locations including but not limited to Longreach, Jericho, Tambo, Augathella, Charleville, Wyandra, Cunnamulla, Durham Downs, Eromanga, Quilpie, Addervale, and then across towards St George, Thallon, Goondiwindi, Roma, and Injune, closer towards the south central and the New South Wales side of Queensland down there. Those are all locations that are, again, not limited to receiving 100 millimetres of rainfall, and again, a lot of those locations, especially around Wyandra, Charleville, and Augathella, they could be seeing rainfall accumulations over the next couple of days up to 250, potentially up to 300 millimetres. Again, if we cross-reference this with the radar and the satellite imagery right now, you can see lots of showers beginning to develop in this general area through here, which includes Charleville, Augathella, and Tambo. And whilst the rainfall's not expected to pipe up there for the next couple of hours, the heavy rainfall will start later on tonight, and I imagine in the 9 a.m. tomorrow morning we're going to be waking up to some pretty significant rainfall accumulations once again around the Charleville area. You can see the East and West forecast model, the European forecast model here, with 250 millimetres expected around Charleville. The GFS calling for slightly less rainfall, and it also to be a little bit more northerly based, with the heaviest falls around the Carnarvon National Park outside of Rolleston with up to 150 millimetres there. But the GFS has been a low baller forecast model, and the Icon forecast model, which is doing an equally good job as what the East and West is calling for right now, with rainfall accumulations between that 250 out to about 300 millimetre mark, especially for locations around Charleville and Wyandra. This general area here is where the heaviest falls are expected to be, on the kind of the most eastern extremities of the Channel Country, towards the east of Windora, and through the south central parts of Queensland as well. I believe this is the central western parts of Queensland, or that's what it's referred to in this general pocket here. This is where the heaviest falls are going to be. So for locations south of Winton, south of Longreach, and south of Jericho, including Yarraka, Tambo, Augathella, Charleville, Wyandra, and Cunnamulla, is where the heaviest falls are expected to be over the next 36 to 48 hours. Rainfall will clear out of this area by the looks of things through Friday and in towards Saturday, especially through later on Friday. You can see the rainfall for the most part clearing out of this part of Queensland through here. There will still be some heavier falls through Friday morning and into early Friday afternoon, but the rainfall contracting in towards New South Wales and the southeast of Queensland through Friday night and into Saturday morning, where heavy falls are expected to be widespread across the eastern half of New South Wales through Saturday morning, contracting to heavy falls for the northeastern part of New South Wales through Saturday afternoon and Saturday evening. Heavy rainfall is expected to materialise around the southeast corner of Queensland as well through Saturday morning into Saturday afternoon, and that will be on top of the moderate rainfall that they're expecting throughout the remainder of today and into tomorrow as well. I mean, just take a look at the rainfall that's falling in the areas now. It's very widespread, and whilst it isn't anything crazy, I mean, for the most part, these rainfall accumulations here are sitting at about 2 to 5 millimetres an hour, with the heaviest falls and the heaviest pockets of rainfall on the Sunshine Coast up to 15 millimetres an hour. For the most part, the rainfall through here is light and not causing any problems. Certainly, though, we still could be seeing some pretty big puddles as a result of this weather event through here, and real rainfall is expected to pipe up into the northwestern corner of New South Wales, especially around Wanaring, Bourke, Lightning Ridge, Walgett, Coonamull, as well. Some pretty significant falls expected there, and even Broken Hill, Wilcannia, and White Cliffs could see some pretty significant falls as well. And even as far south as Ivanhoe, we can't be writing off some significant rainfall accumulations there between 25 and 75 millimetres. It really depends on how this rainfall does materialise in for these locations for New South Wales, but for the most part, a lot of locations along the New South Wales-Queensland border between Wanaring across to Goondiwindi, expecting falls in excess of 100 millimetres, which will cause some significant flooding problems in those areas, but falls will be for the most part into the northern half of New South Wales at around that 25 to 50 millimetre mark, slightly heavier over into the northeastern corner of New South Wales and across the southeast of Queensland, where falls up to 150 millimetres over the next 4 days are possible. Also, some really heavy falls up in far north Queensland. I thought that this was definitely worth mentioning as well, and even though it's not directly associated with the rainfall across the interior parts of Queensland, it's still coming in heavy shower bands that are being drawn in as a result of this low pressure system over in Queensland, which just shows you how powerful this system is. Even though this low pressure system is located around the Badori area, in fact it's on the Northern Territory side of things compared to Queensland, it is able to draw in and affect the weather over in the top end of Western Australia, the Northern Territory, and also parts of far north Queensland. It just goes to show how much power and how significant this weather system is in terms of area. But yeah, heavy showers over in the Daintree rainforest right now. They're very slow moving at this time as well. You can see over the last hour the rainfall has barely budged there. We've also had some pretty heavy showers over the last hour in the Cardwell Gap area, and rainfall accumulations are now starting to approach triple figures in the Daintree rainforest. Some heavy falls out towards Mount Carbine with Darrell out there, and heavy falls through the Atherton Tablelands as well. Heavy falls also in the Big Bend area between Townsville up towards Innisfail. Heavy falls being reported around the Cardwell Gap alert area, which has picked up 120 millimetres since 9 a.m. and counting very quickly. Isolated to widespread heavy showers are expected into the Townsville area as well, and it is worth noting that over the next 5 days there is the risk of just shower bands streaming in anywhere between Cairns down to Mackay. So that includes Proserpine and the Whitsundays through Bowen, Ayr and Townsville as well. These saturated communities, especially between Bowen up to Cairns, they do have the chance of just these stagnant, very slow moving lines of showers moving into these locations, which could drop 250 millimetres in as quick as 6 hours. So I want everybody in this part of Queensland as well to just be aware that some very heavy rainfall is possible, and whilst it's impossible to forecast exactly where it's going to materialise, and it is likely to happen in the evenings, especially through tomorrow night between Ingham down to Mackay, there is the chance of some very heavy falls. We're not going to know until this rainfall does begin to develop, but you can already start to see some heavy falls developing around the Townsville area right now, and that could give way to some pretty significant flooding events over in those areas as well. Again, they definitely do not need any more rainfall, and severe thunderstorms are also a threat in the thunderstorm outbreak that we're seeing across the northern half or the northwestern corner of Queensland this time around Maxwellton and Hughenden. So make sure you are staying safe and staying cool, calm and collected. If we take a look at the warnings as well, there's another feature over on windy.com that we can check in on. It's the weather warnings that are current across this part of Australia. You can see just in terms of what's going on, there are severe flood warnings across much of the interior parts of Queensland through the Diamantina and through much of the Channel Country as well. Flood warnings and watches are current. We've got major flooding across many rivers around the Windora and the Charleville area. Winton is completely cut off and these water levels are going to take days, if not weeks, to recede properly. Lake area is expecting a good filling as well as a result of this rainfall here, and I'm expecting the rainfall in this part of Queensland to, like I said, take at least 10 days to fully recede, and I'm not expecting access to be restored to a lot of these locations until at least the end of next week. So again, remember, if it is flooded, forget it. A lot more rainfall still to come, and these rivers that are flowing up minor or moderate flooding alerts also likely to tip up towards some major flooding areas. There's not one river in Queensland right now that's dropping in water levels unless they're tidal influenced right now. So again, all of these rivers in Queensland are starting to really fill up with water. Stay safe, stay calm, and if it is flooded, remember to forget it, or if it's flooded, forget it. In an event like this, it's just far too risky, that's for sure. Anyways, that is all that I have time for this afternoon. I do hope you found this video informative and enjoyable. If you've got any questions or comments, leave them in the comment section down below as well, and check out the Facebook page for more frequent weather updates on this system here. Just thought that it was worth the airtime for a second update today, but that is all from me this afternoon. A special shout out to the channel sponsors, of course, their names are on screen right now, and I'll catch you all in the next storm. Goodbye.